Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, folks, today's date, Thursday, June 5th, 2014, and a pretty interesting day today across the board. We saw a pretty nice sell-off after a gap higher this morning, and then like a perfectly timed, coordinated event, we saw the markets change form and go straight higher. And again, let's just walk through what happened today, because this morning we got out news from the ECB. They basically instituted a negative interest rate for banks, where the banks will actually, if they hold on to money, will have to then pay to do that. So in terms of the banks being able to hold on to money and get interest on that money, they're now going to be charged for it. Now, it's a very minor amount, but ultimately what the Fed is trying to do, or the ECB, I should say, is make sure they are lending money. That's the ultimate goal here. Now, the markets initially liked that pre-market. Draghi, the head of the ECB, he also instituted other things like kind of like buybacks on bonds and stuff like that the Federal Reserve is doing as well. And interestingly enough, the markets again really did rally pre-market, but by the time the markets opened, we just had a small minor move to the upside, and then the markets sold off pretty sharply to the point where we were basically down about 50 cents on the SPY. That's not a huge drop, but it was just a little minor drop. And basically what you came into here is you came in and retested this same trend line area right here that we've been testing. I mean, if you look at this trend line here, and I've shown this to you in every video, you're hitting it, piercing it, bouncing, hitting it, piercing it, bouncing, hitting it, and kissing it today and bouncing off of it. Today was the biggest bounce of all. I almost wonder if today's exhaustion on in terms of bouncing off this line. We're starting to roll a little bit now, but not enough to make me think that anything's going on that's more significant than just a pullback or some profit taking ahead of the jobs number tomorrow. So obviously, the market's liking the ECB news so far, with a pretty significant move to the upside. Volume's still light. It's better than yesterday. We've done about 61.6 million, but a lot of that volume early in the day was on the selling pressure. So we saw pre-market and then right when the market opened, the selling pressure, and you can see it's dying out now as we go forward. But again, I think you also had some short covering here on the move up, and now I think you'll get some profit taking towards the afternoon on the charts ahead of the jobs number tomorrow, which again will be out tomorrow morning, the unemployment report and non-farm payrolls report. All right, so that's what we have going on here, and just kind of interested to see how things play out into the close. I am short the spiders right now. I posted it on our social forum called Traders Life 24/7. I shorted the spiders at 194.55, so I'm about 25 cents in the money right now, and I'm looking personally to take 30 cents on the first half and then just let the second half run. I might even hold the second half into tomorrow. I just need 4 more cents before my limit order would be executed at 194.25, so we'll hopefully get that. I think you have room for that just because the 20 MA is all the way down here, so you just need a little bit more of a dip here, and I should get my exit. I have a break-even stop as well, and so I can't lose on this trade. Now it's just a matter of can I make it. All right, couple stocks that I'm seeing out there that warrant a heads up in terms of a potential top on them. If you look at AAL, take a look at American Airlines here. Even with the market strong today, and really if you look at the S&P up 10 points, the NASDAQ's up 35, Dow's up 84, it's a pretty strong day on the markets across the board. But these stocks, which have been high flyers like American Airlines, are opened higher and reversed. And that's a pretty nice reversal on this stock. We actually saw that on the IYT just a couple days ago as well. And if we look at the chart here, look at how extended this is. Also, DAL is one of my favorites. I actually picked up some puts on this over the last few days. I've been accumulating a put position because you're into some key levels as well. So I'm looking at on puts on DAL. I bought the the July 41s. But in any case, looking for this to continue to see weakness. And look at this, down today on an up day. Extension move here. And look at the chart. If I zoom out on this chart, this is one of the most amazing charts I think I've ever seen in a long, long time, at least for a larger company. I mean, you can look at small caps and see some crazy charts like this, but this is an amazing chart. From $10, it broke out, and it's now trading it just down below $42. Got as high today as 42.66. That's literally a 300+% move on the stocks. I mean, that's amazing to me. That's absolutely astounding. But I actually think it's going to really start coming in here pretty significantly, and I'm going to hold my puts. I have enough time on them since they're July's. I have a month and a half, basically a month and 2/3 at least. So I think I'll hold this, and I'm looking for this really to. I want to double my money minimally on these puts. I really do want to double my money, and that would be a nice gain if we could get that. So we'll continue to watch very closely and see as things progress here. But I am interested to watch and see how things play out in the short term. All right, so those were two stocks that I wanted to bring to your attention. We do see the IYT, the transport's up today, but they haven't really taken out those recent highs either, so I'm still keeping a close eye on that as well. All right, what else do we want to look at? Apple. Let's take a look at Apple today. Apple's actually a little bit weaker, but Apple here is hitting into, let me just erase these lines. These aren't important anymore. But Apple's hitting into this resistance level, the 653 level. It hit 650 today, or just kissed it, and that should be your short-term top on Apple. All right, I don't foresee Apple really getting much through 653 over the next couple weeks. We'll see again if after the markets pull back and they have another rally, I think Apple might lead the charge. But that, again, would be a short-lived move. For the most part, you'll have a pretty solid move off of this. And I actually am looking to potentially swing it as a short. If we hit it, I would say we need to hit it today or tomorrow. And so far today, it doesn't look like we will, especially as the markets are pulling back just a little bit. All right, folks, just flipping back to the spiders here. And again, if we look at the spiders, this is the daily chart. You can see, look at the upside we've had recently. Ever since we hit the pre-Memorial Day holiday weekend, it was just been up, and away. Very rare to have a down day, and if it was a couple points on the S&P. And you can just see the market's short-term getting further and further away from the 50 MA. And look at how far we are. I know it's hard to see because the chart has so many lines from the intraday, but look at how far we are away from the 200. I mean, here you didn't even hit the 200, but at least you were close there. We haven't hit the 200 in a long, long time, which generally is something you want to be aware of because it can lead to trouble down the line. That's the 5-minute chart. Let me just go to the 10-minute chart here. And again, we just came off the lows here. I did not get out of my my day trade on the spiders yet, as we did not hit that low level yet and trigger me. But nonetheless, we are very close, and I do suspect it'll happen probably in the next 30 minutes or so, at least, if not earlier. Okay, look for that 20 pullback. 20 MA probably is a buying opportunity for a long scalp as well. All right, a couple other stocks that are showing some weakness today. Qualcomm continues to be weak. I think the daily on Qualcomm is just getting saved here, but I think it will ultimately break down. Look at the 50 here. Pierce to the 50, and they're saving it because of the update. But it's not a good performance, and when this thing breaks to 50, it's going to go down fast because look at this. Here it was below the 50, never confirmed. Here it hit the 50. Here it opened below, so they saved it. Here it hit again. Today it's piercing. When this thing confirms, and that's the proprietary confirmation signal, when you confirm below the 50, this thing will go down and go down fast. So just monitor that. That's another one I'm looking at. And I actually have a short with the Research Center on that one, which is, again, the membership you can get here. You can get a 7-day free trial for that as well. But looks pretty interesting. Jobs data tomorrow. What's the angle on it? What do I think? Well, I think the jobs number should be pretty decent. I can't believe I'd be surprised if it was not decent. I'm gauging anywhere between 200 and 250,000. And I think that number, it's going to be, I think the key is the number, unless it's below 150,000 or above like 350, or 300 we'll call it, is not going to be that significant. So again, below 150 or above 300. So you have 150 range there. If you're in that range, I don't think that impacts the markets. But I think if you're in that range, what will impact is look at the unemployment rate and look how many people left the workforce. If there's another big number that left the workforce, that's very concerning, and that probably does scare the markets just a little bit. But again, if you get a decent number there on the unemployment report as well as the non-farm payrolls kind of between that, ideally between 2 and 250, the markets probably will go sideways, maybe a little bit upside, and continue their merry way. Okay, the only thing that would change my perception of the market right now is if today we reversed and closed flat on the day, which I don't think we'll do. But if we did reverse and close flat today, that would be a potential nice topping tail on the daily chart and set us up for some potential very scary action tomorrow. And that would be a chart dictation of that. Okay, so that's what we have going on there, folks. And again, flipping back to the SPY, I just want to kind of summarize here. And you can see we're getting a little bit of a bounce now. Again, I'm still holding my short on the spiders from 194.55. Still in the money by almost 20 cents. Still looking for about 30 cents first half, and then I'll let my second half run maybe into tomorrow as well. A couple other stocks out there. J.P. Morgan Chase is having a pretty nice day. Look at JPM lead this market. So early in the day when the market was weak, this was weak right off the 200. In the intraday stock chat, we talked about buying it right here, guys. It was a great trade, and look at that move to the upside. Just a continued grind higher, and this has not pulled back with the S&P, so that's kind of interesting that it's still showing strength. You'd like to see some weakness in that if the market was going to pull back. Goldman has pulled back, however, and let's just take a look at some of these other stocks. Amazon's having a huge up day. Even though it's off its highs, just a monstrous update today. They're announcing that they're going to be having a new phone, an Amazon phone, joining the ranks of the Apples and the Research in Motions or Blackberries, all these guys coming out with the new hot thing, or they're trying to. I think it's stupid. I think there's so many competitors. Samsung. I mean, you can go off on a tangent about how many of these phone producers there are. And to be honest, this is the key with Amazon. All right, their PE is ridiculous, and it's down $100 off the high still. But if you're going to be Amazon and you have a great core business like Amazon does, and you're going to come out with something new, come out with something like ingenious. Come out with something that's refreshing and new, like a phone, really. I mean, unless it's gonna wipe my butt or something, who cares? I mean, it's like you got to try to come out, especially if you're trying to get that high margin product. I do believe that you got to come out with something like a little bit more creative. So, I mean, that's just my personal opinion on Amazon, and I'm surprised Bezos. Bezos is a pretty creative guy. I'm surprised he didn't kind of come to that same conclusion and say, hey, listen, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. Let's come out with a product that's brand new, that kind of shocks the world, not something that everyone else is already doing, and margins are not that high on, or at least not as high as it could be on a brand new product. All right. I did pull the trigger on a new position today, guys. So if you're a member of the Research Center, you can view that new position. And again, so far we're in the money just a little bit. I love this chart pattern that I put out because it was a perfect gap fill, bearish, weekly, monthly, you name it. It was a beautiful setup there. So watch for that very closely, and we should see some good price action there in the coming days. Tomorrow, let's see what the jobs number has in store for us. All right, have a great afternoon, great evening. Come join us at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take the 7-day free trial. Start profiting with the pros.